they weren't as involved in our lives, and I think that's where we are different. I know I am. I'm a lot more involved in my children's lives, and I tell them all the time,
Welcome to episode number 16. It's your boy Jean Davids, and you listen to Becoming Podcast. So, as you guys know, we are still celebrating the month of women, and welcome to our very stage. How do I say welcome? Don't I say welcome because it's your place, it's not your place? Right, class, not your place, but welcome, Samantha Green.
thank you for having me.
Yo, it's fun. Okay, Philip, I'm just nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. But I think before there's people that know you, you're famous, but there's people that don't know you. Who are you other than John's wife? Who are you in a nutshell? What do you like? What do you eat? What don't you eat? You know, this is the time for you to just say like whatever you want to say. Who's Samantha Green?
Samantha Green. You would think it's the easiest question to answer in the world, but to know yourself is hard. But as you said, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a child of God. Love food. So as a favorite food, I don't know. Plenty of favorites. Businesswoman. I also have a full-time job. So yeah, I'm a lot of things. Busy.
Biggest fear?
Biggest fear? Snakes. Ugh, can't even watch them on TV.
Is it?
No, I can't.
Now I know. When you scare me out, now I know. So for those that don't know, Samantha, she's the one person that can just tell you like as it is. Ek word baie geskeer. Hierdie my mom don't even scare me so out. But anyway, you need people like us to make sure that you're on the right path. Samantha, we are celebrating Women's Month, and you know we're in a time. First of all, we're in a pandemic. We're in a time where women are changing. We're in a time where you can be what you want to be. You can be a butterfly. You can be anything. You can be a masculine woman. You can be a whatever you say, and people support you, woman. What would you say in this time is the most important lesson as a young woman? Is that what you learned?
The biggest lesson I've learned over the years is, and if I could go back in time, it's something I would tell myself, that is, love and respect yourself. If you do those two things, everything else that comes with it will only be positive things. Every decision that you make will be only good decisions. So that is the one lesson I've learned, and that is to love and respect yourself.
I know, like, so we always have this conversation, especially with young women, and this is, I really wanna, the podcast in itself is for men, how to fix men, how to do that, but we're dedicating this month for women, and if you say how, this young girl saying like, yes, you say love and you speak yourself, where do I start?
For me personally, with God. He's the ultimate love. And that's how I learned to love myself. When I realized how God, who is so big and amazing, loves little old me. Everything about me, every wrinkle, every dimple, everything, you know, even the bad parts of me that I try to work on, He loves that. So I look in the mirror, and the days that I don't want to love myself, I remind myself, do you remember who loves you? And when I remember that, I learn to love myself again. And also
Do you use word of affirmation?
I don't. I don't even know what that means.
Now I tell myself, yo, buddy, you, right?
No, that's a fine line because, you know, vanity can slip in there, so I'm careful of that. But no, like really, that is the things that I will do. And sometimes you've got to pick yourself up. You know, nobody else is going to do it for you, so you've got to learn to do it for yourself.
I think this is a very important episode because I like where you're situated. I think we had a discussion in the week where we said, I like it where you're situated. You're not young anymore, but you're not old. Like you literally just I think you are the link between relay. It's just that handing over, that moment there. You're not just running, but that handing over moment, yeah. And I think that is one of the most toughest times to positions to be, is because you still remember the old ways and how things used to be done, but you also learn this new way of also how things will be done. You can still get the same result. With you being the very important, like the very interlinked, what would you say is the one principle that you've learned right now from your mom, grandma, whoever? What was the one lesson that you'd be like, this one I'm taking all the way through?
If there's one thing I would keep that I didn't keep, and I've got children of various ages. So now I've got the youngest, which is 2. And then we've got the older ones, as 20s and teens. What I did not do with them, and I want to do with the young one, which is from old school, and that is teaching them to work hard for everything that one thing to. And I think that's what our parents instilled in us. They, I don't know about you, but both my parents worked, and you had your chores that, you weren't asked to do things. You were told this, and you knew this needed to be done, or this how to play. And that makes our generation of my age very independent. We know how to run a household, we know what to do. That I would take in the store. I think in every generation to come. The thing that there's a flip side to that though, because in them doing that though, they weren't as involved in our lives, and I think that's where we are different. I know I am. I'm a lot more involved in my children's life, and I tell them all the time, be grateful that I am the type of mom that cares enough to know what's going on.
I think that also, you're not saying that, we used to be like my sister and myself, and we know, we come from school, you catch on nonsense, but 10 to 4, like you do in that 10 minute space, we fix it, we clean, we put the rice on, we put the meat, like everything is being done because 4 o'clock, mom is going to be at home. And I think that was something where, like you say, some youngsters, you can just see, is going to come suave for you. Like that was our thing. We can catch on everything. You can play outside, but 4 o'clock, she's going to be at home. And that, like I said, there was just an unwritten rule. There was just that, and right now, there's literally nothing that I can't do. I can't cook as well, but from washing to doing there's nothing that you scraping through that. Yeah. For the birds, we can do it because that's something that they just I just call it your stove, your hem, anybody, you wash it and stuff like that. And I think that is very, like you say, you didn't realize how important that was back then. Right now, you're like, thank you actually that you done now. With that being said, I said what, and you touched, I think based on that, what do you say? What is a principle that you would change from the older generation? Oh, I know I have a lot, but it's not about me now. What would you change, especially when it comes from the female? Yeah.
As I said, like you said, I touched on it, and that is to be more involved with your children. You don't need to be watching the move or anything, but be there, motivate them. Like my parents were so busy working and running a household, and I understand that because I do it myself, and so does my husband. But we still make time, sit with them with their schoolwork, check, push them with their grades. I check the report card. My parents just like, you passed great, I'm happy with that. Not pushing me and saying, get higher grades, get this. And I know it's not every household might be that way, but in my household, definitely, my parents were just happy that I passed. Maybe sometimes a bit disappointed it wasn't a great pass, but they would just be satisfied, And I don't believe, and I think that is the one thing I've changed with my children, and that is I push them and I push them hard. If I know what your potential is, I'm not going to accept just a standard pass or a low pass, because I will tell you, I know how smart you are, I know you can achieve more, and I will sit with you and I will help you. And I think that's the one thing that will change as busy as we are.
And you're saying that there was a time actually when I was also, but like, it disappointed, but you're angry and you're frustrated. And I used to, and I had to have a chat with my parents because I'm like, oh, you guys, as long as I passed to you guys, it was like, you know what, well done. I never failed in school, right through, and to them that was okay. But when I look at myself, I'm like, this is nothing. I think I could have done much better than this. And every time when I just come with the report and say pass, it was like, well done. And we were celebrating. But then when I look at it, I'm like, yo, if you guys just be like, John, I want other stuff with this. And yeah, I agree with you on that. That's why I also can't wait to be a parent. Just change a few things. Some generational person that's not, they don't need laying of hands, but actually just need practical implementing, like, the real rules and stuff like that. And now it's going to change. The thing I'm going to ask you is that, what do you think our young ladies have lost in this time that will cost them in the future? What's the one thing that our women have? I know there's a lot of stuff in this, there's both sides. And for me, it's like we're not speaking about gender right now. But from a woman's side, what do you think when you look at young women, whether you're going to a mall on a random day, or just standing in the line and you see a woman behave, or speaking to young people or stuff like that, what do you think is the one thing that in their mind, because we sit with a generation and we sit with a lot of people that feel that because they have the ability to say anything, that anything that they say is right, which is not so. What would you say that our young ladies have lost in this time that it's going to cost you a lot? One or two or three or four?
Oh, there's so many. But it goes back to the lesson that I learned, that is self-respect. I look at the way young ladies today portray themselves, like you say, walking around the malls, at school, on social media, bodies to be put out there the way they do, get into the ugly fights that they do. It is heartbreaking to watch that there's absolutely no self-respect in these young ladies. And I know a lot of them might come out of different homes, but you can't always blame that. And it's just this, I get the sense of no self-worth in them. And one day they're going to grow up and they're eventually going to realize, now that they're older, I wish I could turn back the hands of time and redo it, and you can't. And with social media today, things live forever out there.
I cannot agree with you. I was a very social media person. Then I've gone rather behind the scene and see what marketing can do for us. Then to just, but the one thing, and I say it's your phone. You pay your airtime, it's your Facebook, it's your TikTok, you can literally do anything that you want. But I say this to Chris, and I say this to her, that my word to anybody that uses social media will be, you have the right to post anything, but then also have the, no pun intended, the balls to take the responsibility of what we are posting. A lot of young kids, they put half naked pictures up, people take it and they use it for something else, and they're like, yeah, but people think, but you literally put it out. I always say this also as that thing of whatever I post, we must be aware that this technology will be here for a long time, maybe forever. That your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren will be able to go back to the very post that you're posting right now and be like, yo, was that mom?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that mom's boobies? Imagine, like just for a moment, you see your grandma, a young version of your grandma, not a nice picture, you see grandma's booty out here, grandma's is just, and you'll be like, grandma, what TikTok thing? It will be like, because now you're a mom and you have all, and I'm like, that for me is like, then take that with the same amount of energy that you're posting it, same amount of energy with the backlash you're going to get for that. And what I've also realized is that the more people show you, the less they have to do. I look at it's really, and let me say this, let me just say this, I know this is probably going to get, but when I look at this, and it's very complex how the world works, is that guys will entertain that. Yo, you're so, but they wouldn't want to take that home.
I was just going to say, they'll entertain it, but they won't pay.
I'm just sipping my tea.
That is the truth. So you have to, so as a young woman or a young girl, ask yourself, do you want to be or grow into the woman that he's going to marry? Or do you want to continue to be the entertainment? Because that means you never, and if you do get married, you know, is that person going to respect you? Or is he going to be the person I settled for because I couldn't find the one I was looking for? Because that's what happens. The sequel sometimes. I'll take you, but you know what? I'm not happy with what I've got.
And you know that I'll also say that once you're married, you can literally just have that. Because this is my rule. A lady in the street, like people will, I'll just think that for me, I would rather than have that. You know, they don't know who I have or who they're select for. That's fine. But at least I know there's a lot of stuff because now you showed me so much of everything. There's nothing for the bedroom.
Exactly.
There's nothing for after marriage because you have protected everything.
Exactly.
I'm like, I saw this when you do something. I saw this on the old post. I saw this in 2021. How are you doing this? Yeah, baby, I might as well just go to your post because whatever you're showing me right now, I've already seen. And not just me, some other thousands guys. And that's always what I'm saying is that I will say that you have the right to put on anything. You can put on anything. It's just that you have the self-respect to understand that it's not for everybody to see. A guy really needs to work his way. Because there's some stuff that you will reveal to Jono, physically, emotionally, spiritually, in every way that I will never see. You're not going to tell me how much you pay. Because he's your husband and but now you are giving everything out so much that so much of yourself is out there. And you know what's the worst part? You can't get it back.
You can't. You cannot get it back. Once it's gone forever. And that's just something I hope that the generation will start to realize and just start treating themselves better. Not treating others better, start treating yourself better because then automatically you'll start to treat others better.
I'm a post I don't know, but it's that's very strong heart. Let's just calm it down. You said earlier on your mother, your wife, your business partner, your worker, and the list goes on and on. And to me, he was Scalar. My question is number one: where do you, where and how do you find balance?
Sure. I actually struggled with this last year, especially when this pandemic happened and you have to work from home. And I really struggled with balance. I was finding myself working again in the middle of the night, because I had to juggle family, I had to juggle small baby, everything, and I just couldn't let my mind down. Until New Year, went on a break, December holidays, you go back, feel refreshed, renewed. And I promised myself, because Charlie made a point to me, he's like, when you're at the office, you leave a certain time, and you come home and you do you're doing cooking and everything, so you need to have that same, work time. And I thought to myself, but that's true. I wouldn't work at 10 o'clock at night at the office. I would work at almost 5, 6 o'clock at night, so anyway. And so I promised myself I wouldn't work later than 6 p.m. And then once I log off, it's family time, seeing everything out. And that's what I do. I have the best perception of my day. These are my hours for work, these are my hours that I see to the children, these are my hours for once the children are asleep, I settle, and then it's my time for myself and my husband.
I think there's one client, Diana, and you sit there and you just hear things going on, and she made this great point also where she said that whether she's working at home, her kids and everybody else at home now, between the working hours, so when she stops, she don't pick up a cup, she don't do washing quickly, she don't do nothing of that. But the moment she clock or 4 o'clock, the work knows I'm not going to answer my phone. And I think that is, it has been, I think the whole trans, like going from working at work, and because I don't know if you were that people, but I was that person that I'm working till 4 o'clock, but let me just do this really.
Yeah.
You sit there 20 past 5 and like, you say, okay, I'm going to go home now.
Exactly.
But then I had, like I said, I had the conversation and I told her tomorrow's going to be this, there's still going to be work. Like the day of it, there's still going to be work. You can't outwork work. You can't be like, I've worked my till December, I'm going to take a... No, there was still going to be work. And that's why I do agree with you is to have that balance. What do you use? Like, what do you do? I see you guys do a mini getaway. Is that one of your just to get away from?
We try. We
With us?
try. We try to get away or just go on a date. You know, have date nights. That's important as well. Yeah, that's what we try to do. Break away from home life and kids. It's important. It doesn't happen often. But we try. I would say to any couple, if you know, any married couple, whatever you do, don't stop dating when you're married. It's advice that my mother-in-law gave me, and it's advice that I carry dear to my heart. And like I said, because we try, you know, let's just quickly do this, so let's do that. But life gets super busy. You run a business, and you're holding down a job, and you've got 4 kids. It's not easy.
5.
No.
Oh yeah, 4.
The other one grew up.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. The other son, John. Anyway, you spoke about such a lot of stuff, and I think it's so important. And I think we can literally have conversations in any category, in every category for hours. But as a Christian, the Bible says like, wives submit to your own husband as to the Lord. What you're taking in submitting to your husband?
This one really women all riled up. I said yes, I said no to my husband. And many women have asked me, why did you say that? And I'm like, read further down in that same scripture. Because it also says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loves you. So as long as my husband is loving me the way Christ loves me and the way Christ loves him, he will do everything every day out of love. It's easy to submit to. So what's the problem? He's not doing anything anger or hatred or going down the wrong path. Everything is in Christ. So yes, when I'm submitting to my husband who's in Christ, I'm submitting to Christ. So yes, I will submit to my husband.
I think we because obviously with me, I was chatting with guys, we were like, dude, what is this and stuff like that. And one guy made a phenomenal just before he got married, and he said this. He said to the church, he said, guys, because some guys complain, oh my wife doesn't submit, and all the stuff, and you can say a lot of stuff because everybody has a strong point. Everybody's done the research. But he said this, and he said to the guy, because the guy was like, what do I do because my wife doesn't submit? And he said, you love her into submission. And I was like, and I've learned, obviously, because we're loving a woman, it's you know, it's a roller coaster. So you literally, your love just needs to stay constant with her temperature goes up or mood come down, or she cries because it's that time of the month or whatever. And you know, she's angry and she's hungry and she's all this stuff. Your love must be so constant. And when I read that scripture, I was like, it's easy to read because it's just like, but when you do it, it is like, and this is why I said, I also have learned now to practice that of loving to the soul as Christ, because putting the wedding ring is not a magic wand. It's not going to be like, oh, your husband,
it's even harder.
Yes, oh, yeah. But I think you don't realize the blessing that comes from it, from both ends. From a husband to love his wife, you don't know like what blessing you receive, and it's the same vice versa. And it's such a blessing that doesn't necessarily come from the Father, but that comes from God.
Exactly, and I think another thing is, yes, in this day and time, women are taught to be strong and independent and do anything you want to do, anything a man can do. A big thing for me is that the man is the head of the home. Don't take that role out of his hands. And a lot of the time, the men are happy to hand it over. To be there and say, what is going on? Are you spiritually struggling? I always say marriage is like, I think of marriage as the scales. You know, you get those scales, those old type scales, you know, up and down. And I say spiritually, a husband and wife will never be level spiritually. We were designed to uplift, to lift each other up. So when the one is on a high spiritually and the other one's lower, the one that's on a high will lift the other one up. And then you'll momentarily come together and then it tips again. And that is how a marriage should be. They should constantly be there for one another, so that, you know, you can't always stay there. Life gets hard and sometimes you get knocked down. Your partner, and that is why it's so important that when you get married, and the Bible says, be equally yoked. I understand that now. because you need to have a partner that is going to be able to lift you up and play for you in the times when you cannot play for yourself.
You made me forget that I'm actually here now because I was like, yo, and yo, that's really nice. I wanted to say now before I go because we were drawing close to the end, but I want to ask you this question by saying that why do you think that a woman in this time, because a lot you just clicked something by saying like, you know, a lot of times men have handed over the role and women have just taken it, or women have came into like, I'm taking this role, and I've had to learn my short period of like when leadership takes, I had to learn that of like, don't always ask where we eat. Sometimes I'm driving, I'm like, I don't even know where I'm going. But I just let her know that, don't worry, we're going somewhere. And I'm just thinking, yeah, just drive somewhere. And I would drive and like, because she's like, where we going? And I'm, don't worry, I was. But just to take that leadership role, and sometimes we don't always know where we're going or how to lead, but just to take that initiative and being like, you are set as a leader. Why would you then say women see submission as a weakness?
I think it's the word. I think it's you have to be submissive, and they go back to, and maybe back in that time, it meant you don't speak up and you keep your head down. What I say is.
With that being said, my God, I'm okay, ladies and gentlemen. This has been an amazing. Thank you so much. Yo, I really forgot that I'm here because you like spoken to my soul, and I just really wish that every woman or guy that listen to this won't listen to their own agenda, but to listen to this with an open heart. And I do know they will be blessed. Like, sure, guys, like I said, this was super fire. It's your boy John Davids, and we are out of here.